Okay, y'all. So we are back another week of The Real Housewives of Potomac, season 10, episode 7. Guess who's Bizak? Before we get into the video, please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. And if this is your returning time here, I welcome you back with open arms. All right, you guys. So listen, I'm going to keep saying it every week because the ladies are giving us something to work with every week. So I'm not mad, right? The Potomac has been showing up for us as far as entertainment as it relates to housewives. Like they're finally doing their job. So kudos to the ladies of Potomac. All right. So anyway, we start this episode, Guess Who's Back, with Ashley pulling up to someone's house. Who is it? They have all these animals and it's Monique. Okay, Monique is back. I'm sorry, but Monique has just always been a chop for me. She is just very basic and there's something inauthentic about her. I'm going to give her an opportunity. I'm gonna give her an opportunity now that she's back on the show, but she just is very inauthentic to me and just extremely basic. Like I can't even put my finger on it completely, but like, let me know if y'all know what I mean. Let me know if y'all know what I mean. Um, you remember Monique was on Real Housewives of Potomac some years ago. I think she came on in 2017, and of course, everything happened with Candace. She put her hands on Candace. There was a whole fight. And they campaigned, the ladies on the show, they campaigned to have her removed from the cast, and she was, okay? Giselle, um, Giselle, Candace, leading the charge on that, right? Candace for obvious reasons, right? And then Giselle, because Giselle was like, absolutely not. Violence is a no. And we remember Monique then went over to Love and Marriage, not Detroit, Love and Marriage. What was the other one? There was Detroit, Huntsville, and of DC. Love and Marriage DC, duh. And she's from Maryland, Virginia area. Okay. Anyway, we catch up with Monique. Ashley's big head ass is pretending like, oh, they just been friends for so long, they're so close. But then she gets to Monique's house and she doesn't recognize anything. So it's like, girl, have you been to the house? No, you haven't been to the house. Okay, cool. What I did remember though, I did remember her parrot T'Challa, and it's very sad to hear that the parrot died. Um, she started to get choked up about it, and that I felt that was very genuine because I'm somebody that is a lover of animals. So very sad to hear that T'Challa passed. Anyway, Ashley and Monique, they catch up, and Monique is like, I've been on this journey since that fight, and basically just trying to welcome in her peace. We know that her and Chris are divorced, so she's a single lady, and she's just living her best life. Like, I'm gonna give Monique that. I won't hold anything against her in that regard, but I didn't like how she showed up on Love and Marriage DC. And so her being back on Potomac is kind of like, it's not the splash that, I don't know, that Bravo thought it was going to be. Anyway, what I did appreciate about this scene with Ashley and Monique is that Ashley did not bring up the situation with Stacey and Chris Samuels, who is Monique's ex-husband. And I'm glad she didn't do that. I was 1,000% expecting her to, even though she did preface Monique with how she felt about all of the ladies, and she prefaced how she felt about Stacey with, oh, we have a liar in the group who, things just don't add up. So she planted a seed, but she didn't jump all the way out the window with it. In the next scene, we get, a scene with Wendy. I'm sorry. Yes, a scene with Wendy and Eddie. They're at home. Child, let me tell you something. Bravo, y'all are so shady doing the price tag of the renovations at their house, which totaled $100,000.
I could do that too. So we are changing up everything. We're renovating the sitting room, the family rooms, the kitchen, the formal dining room, brand new floor, the southern room, the pantry, the mud room, the laundry room, all at once.
It looked way more than $100,000, but okay. They got $100,000 worth of renovations going on at their house. And so Eddie and Wendy are in the garage, and they're basically going through the Happy Eddie merch. They have sweaters and stuff. And I thought it was so funny. He was putting like all of the loose, I think they were like a muscle, what, not a muscle relaxer. What is it? Like a stress ball. I think they were stress balls that they were playing with, and he was like dumping them in the Telfair bag. I thought that was funny. Um, but yeah, so they're just talking, and Wendy is catching Eddie up on what happened in Nevis and how, the ladies definitely looked out for her birthday. And then Wendy starts to tell us about how, her birthday passed and her dad didn't even tell her happy birthday, and that they have a family group chat, and her dad is back in Nigeria. And he was saying, for the group chat to tell her uncle happy birthday, which his birthday is 5 days after hers, but he didn't call her or tell her happy birthday. And that is actually, I don't know, that's such a weird thing for a parent to not acknowledge their child's birthday. And then Wendy gets to downloading Eddie about Stacy and her cannabis line, which is going to be called Shio, which is Nigerian for like family and happiness and so on and so forth. Then we move over to Stacy, and Stacy is doing the marketing and packaging for her cannabis line, Shio. And I think it was, honestly, I think the pictures will probably come out really cute. And you would just never know that they were taking pictures right outside of the facility where I guess they were pulling the marketing together. You would have never known she wasn't in the middle of the forest. No, she was right outside of a little office building. But anyway, yeah, so she's talking to the guy, and I guess the creative director, and they're just talking about how they got this business up and running in 90 days. And I'm like, Stacy, listen, I don't know. Stacy definitely outright lied and said she didn't have a cannabis line coming out at the reunion last year. And Stacy is a liar. Don't get me wrong. We know she's a liar. But to say that they got it stood up in 90 days, good for her. Good for her. I hope it's successful. Listen, it's enough money for everyone. And that's what Wendy said. Shout out to Wendy. Wendy was like, look, I'm not a fan that she didn't keep it real when it was asked of her, but also, it's enough money in this business for everyone. So, kudos to Wendy for being supportive of a business venture. Okay. All right, so in the next scene, we get Angel and her sister Ingrid. Angel is such a chop for me, guys. Like Angel is just, she can go, and I don't know what's going on with like why she talks like that. It's almost like she has a retainer on her bottom teeth or something. She talks very weird. Um, but she's telling her sister basically about what happened at Nevis, and she literally glosses over, oh yeah, Giselle said I didn't look like my pictures. And then Wendy, she looks like Forrest Whitaker with those asshole black lips and those eyes. And I'm just like, girl, literally I'm so glad that they replayed the footage, because she told her sister like, yeah, Wendy called me a catfish. That's not what happened. You have such a hard on for Wendy, and Wendy does not even think about you. It's honestly a little like Fatal Attraction, because girl, you are so fixated on Wendy when Giselle has been the one tagging you this entire time. Giselle has been the one making you cry. You're crying and running to everyone, telling everybody what you got going on. But I'm very confused on the fact that you're doing all this crying, but then you're putting all the energy from the tears to Wendy. Girl, Wendy is not your enemy. And then later on in the episode, because they're going to meet up for Pride, Ashley's having like a Pride event. They meet up for Pride, and Giselle walks in and she's like, hey, wag. Like, Angel, go sit the fuck down. I don't like Angel. Her sister was like, oh yeah, Giselle airbrushes her neck. Like, girl, your sister even has more smoke for Giselle than you do. Where are we going with this? Like, it is such a chop. It really is such a chop. And that was that conversation. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna give all the ladies a chance. I guess, girl, bye. Just go away. Then we get a scene of So Jassy is finally getting married and she invites the ladies, but we only see Wendy, Ashley, and Stacy go to the wedding. Girl, that ring, Jassy's ring was insane. They said 4 carats, but like, my gosh, that ring was so insane. Shout out to Jassy. She's married. She a stepmama and she happy. Okay, stepmama AF. Of course, Ashley had to be shady. She was like, "Oh, I think Stacy only came because Wendy and I were going." And Stacy's like, "Oh, I had to, reschedule my entire event so that I could go to Jossie's wedding." My thing is, the thing is, if you could move around your event for someone's wedding, you should, especially if they're a friend, right? Because you want to be able to support them. And if this is your baby, your business venture, you want them to support you. So if you have the flexibility to move it around, I would have done the same thing. So good job, Stacy, for, moving your stuff around. But it is a little, I will say this, because Stacy was supposed to be in the wedding. And Stacy wasn't in the wedding, but she still showed up to the wedding. But the reason why she didn't want to be in the wedding was because she supposedly had her business launch at the same time. So it's kind of like, well, then did you not want to be in the wedding? Because it's kind of given you just didn't want to be in the wedding. I don't know. I don't want to put that on Stacy, but Stacy, I don't know. I didn't like that. Anyway, next we get a scene with Tia. Let me say this. I would 1,000% watch a reality show with Tia and her family. 1,000%, because they are just entertaining. Like, Tia doesn't have a storyline, and that's fine. Like, we are really just welcoming her just being herself, her family, them just being themselves. And it's so crazy because they have these cameras, but it's like they're not nervous in front of the cameras, and they're not putting on in front of the cameras, and they're not doing extra in front of the cameras. They are literally just being their regular selves. And I think that's so funny and it's entertaining. But let me tell you something, that Nathaniel, that son. So Tia walks in the kitchen and the twins are in the kitchen, her son and her daughter, Nathaniel and Amara. And the daughter is on the laptop doing her homework. And so Tia questions Nathaniel like, "Hey, have you done your homework?" Because he's playing on the iPad. And so they kind of go back and forth. And he kind of snatches the iPad from her when she tries to take it. And she's like, "Go do your homework." I said, "Oh no. Oh no, Tia." And I know she kept her cool for the cameras, but baby, it was giving, this little boy done lost his mind. Now, I know you're the only son, but you done lost your mind. Anyway, they start talking about the daughter Alexis's birthday, because remember, Tia missed the birthday because she was in Nevis with the girls. So it was so funny. They were talking about what happened with the party, and apparently there was like somebody that was invited that was disinvited, and they ended up leaking their address, and a whole bunch of people showed up, and it was basically Project X. Somebody threw up in the daughter bedroom. Somebody was standing on the car. The other daughter called the police. So basically it was a whole thing. And Tia was looking at the husband like, "Rhop, you were here the whole time. Like, why is this news to you? Why? Like, why was all this stuff going on? Like, where were you? Like, where were you?" And I just thought that was funny. Like, shout out to Tia. Tia is definitely a great addition. So shout out to Tia. We also got a scene with Giselle. So Giselle, remember, if you guys were seeing in the blogs, Giselle was having issues with the will, her father's will. And, there was some discrepancies on basically like, the new wife was saying that he had changed his will like days before he passed. And so Giselle is like going through a legal battle with his current wife or whatever. I don't remember the outcome. If I remember, I will add it in here. All right. So, shout out to Giselle and her family, and their family issues. Like, it's never fun when someone passes away and everyone is trying to figure out, their new normal. So now we are moving over to Kiana, another chop. First of all, Greg is not attractive. Okay, let's just start there. Secondly, is Kiana related to Black China? Because Kiana and her mom very much give Tokyo Tony and Black China. I'm sorry, they do. Like, in the sense of they favor each other, right? Like, if you were looking at Kiana in this this animal print outfit she had on, it gave very much Tokyo Toni. And you can't tell me no different. I feel like I've seen Tokyo Toni wear something like that. It gave very much Tokyo Toni. And then when you get a close up on her face, she's like a brown skin Black China to me. She really is. Especially with that bone straight, bust down black hair, it gives very much Black China. Okay. But anyway, we find out that Greg has 3 kids. Kiana, girl, what are you doing? Like, what am I missing about this interaction? Because Kiana's a beautiful girl, and Greg is less than attractive to me, I would say. But him having 3 kids, girl, what are you doing? You playing? You know what? I'm gonna take y'all on a quick tangent. For me, I would not be able to be playing stepmom, housewife to a man who has kids that I don't have kids with. And when I say kids with, I mean like you got 3, 4, 5 kids and I'm playing stepmama and I don't have no kids and I don't have no kids with you. Absolutely not. And I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. I don't want to put nobody's business out there, but I have seen it up close and personal. I don't know how y'all do it because it just couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. Kiana, girl, you got way too much going on for yourself to be running behind this man who I think he realizes what he has with Kiana 100%. From last season, I think it has started to click to him. But baby, oh no. Get out of there and run, Kiana. Please run and don't look back. Okay, and we also got another scene with Wendy and Stacy meeting up where basically they're discussing, what happened as far as like Stacy's business. And there's a scene where Stacy is like, yeah, I love Nigerians. I have an affinity to Nigerians. And Wendy looks directly into the camera. Wendy is the key. Like the people that dislike Wendy, it's just like you really don't have a valid reason. She has not just been unbearable compared to a lot of the other ladies. So it's so weird to me. People that have a problem with Wendy. Wendy is hilarious. Anyway, they go back and forth and Wendy is like, look, saw this happen with Karen with my candle business. Now you're doing it with the cannabis business. What can I do? There's nothing more that I can do. Y'all just gonna do what y'all want to do and bite my ideas. I'm flattered. So she don't take it too much serious. All right, so now we get to the last scene, and basically all the ladies are meeting up in a bar for Pride, and Ashley comes in, and basically Ashley gives all of the ladies, similar to what she did in the other episode when they were in Nevis, and basically she's giving all of the ladies their gay nicknames. Oh no, that was Giselle with the shots, the when Giselle was doing the shady shots. So then Ashley decides she's gonna do a gay. I don't know what it. I don't even know what you want to call it. She's just giving them pride names. Actually, just call them pride names. They went through a few of them. Giselle was like welcoming the jizz or something, and Puss in Boots. I don't know. I don't remember all of them. They were funny. They were cute. I think, matter of fact, I think Wendy's was I forget what Wendy's was. She said something about 4 degrees and whatever. Angel's was Oliver tits. Oh no, that's what Wendy's was. Something about degrees, D's nuts, whatever. Anyway, it was cute. They go all the way around the room. They give the shirts, and then voila, Monique walks in. And Monique walks past Giselle. She hugs everyone. It's pleasant. Everyone's happy to see them. And, Giselle speaks, and Giselle is like, I recall Monique when she was with Chris, and I didn't feel like that was the real her, that probably wasn't, her authentic self. And this is also, Giselle walks in, and girl, silly ass Angel is like, oh, hey, wag. Like, girl, nobody is thinking about you. Steady talking about a wag. Go and sit your airbrushed ass face down like we're over it. Baby, I'm over it. Anyway, Monique comes in. She says hi, Giselle. They speak. It's cordial. It's nice. And then, of course, the bullshit starts, and that's where the episode is starting to wind down. So, Kay, of all people, nope, didn't have this on my bingo card as the person who would bring this up, but it was Kay. So, Kay starts talking to Monique, and she's like, oh, do you know the ladies? And so, Monique is like, I know Ashley, I know Giselle, and I know Wendy. Everyone else is new to me. And so she's like, oh, I thought you knew Stacy. And so she was like, no, I don't know Stacy. And she was like, yeah, Stacy said that y'all interacted. Y'all had seen each other or something like that. And she was like, huh? And then Giselle, it was Giselle on the other side of the damn room. She heard it. She was like, no, that was Chris. And she's like, oh, Chris. Okay, I just heard, here go Kay talking about, oh, I just heard Samuels. I didn't know it was Chris. Kay, you knew. You knew. Kay, you are. Oh, Kay. Oh, wait. You are a nasty piece of work. First of all, listen. Give Stacy an opportunity and space to do that. Okay? It just is not even that deep to bring it up in the sense of it needed to be done at that exact moment. It was just very messy and uncalled for. It just was not. And that was the end of the episode. It kind of stopped there. Stacy was looking like a deer in headlights. Kay was fake. And Monique was looking like she didn't really give a shit. So I don't know what it's going to turn into, but we will be tuned in next week. Also, what we saw this week was the ladies and their taglines. Baby, the taglines were all trash. I think I might do a separate video on the taglines because they were so trash that we may need to dissect them just a little bit. So y'all come back tomorrow for my next video and let's talk about the taglines because these might be the worst taglines in Housewives history. Yep, I'm claiming it right now. The worst. All right, y'all. Please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode this week. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Bye bye.